drone attack on U.S. forces in Jordan, sparking concerns over supply disruptions in the Middle East, and this has seen oil prices climb higher on Monday. So let's understand what is moving the markets at the start of the weekend. We speak to Just One Lab founder Simon Brown, who has been waiting patiently for us. Simon, thank you very much for your patience. So let's kick off the conversation with a quick overview of how the markets are faring this Monday morning.
Morning, Polly. We've actually opened red. That after our first good week last week for the year, we are down the overall market of 0.5%. Resources and industrials 0.75% down. Financials and industrials, resources unchanged at this point. Rand trading stronger against all the crosses, 18.78 on the dollar, 23.88 on sterling, and 20.37 against the euro. If we look at commodities, green across the board. Gold, $2,051 an ounce. Brent, 83.75. And the PGMs, platinum, 9.22. And palladium coming a little better, 9.58.
Let's then talk about the global competitive edge of the top 50 companies that is under threat. At least that is the suggestion, according to Coronation. This on the back of SARS dispute. What exactly, I mean, it's many strands to try and pull together here on this story, Simon. What exactly is the problem?
Yeah, as you say, well, many different strands that we get here. And of course, Coronation have lost at the Supreme Court of Appeal. They're now heading to the Apex Court on the appeal at that. They told that they own 716 million to SARS. And what it's about, they had an operation in Ireland, and it's supposedly to be more tax efficient, but SARS said, nope, you weren't using that as an Irish business. It was just an outlet for the South African operations. And that's how it works for Coronation. They say, hang on, in order to be globally competitive, by their reckoning, 48 out of 50 of the largest companies on the JSE, if Coronation were to lose their case at the Apex Court, would also have similar issues. And those issues are simply, how are they being taxed? Now, I'm not sure the Apex Court can rule on this, but ultimately they're going to actually need to probably have a change in legislation if they are saying that's going to impact 48 of the 50, which is basically our entire stock market in terms of overall value. There's a lot more companies, but those are the very, very big ones. So it's going to get very technical, but it's something we need to watch very closely.
Well, thank you, Simon, for simplifying that for us. Let's talk about the South African wine makers. They have seen exports drop to 17% in 2023. So what were the drivers of some of this disappointing performance, if you like, and put that against the backdrop that says South Africa is set to launch the implementation of the Africa Free Trade Area? Could that open new markets for the industry?
I'm going to start with the second part first. Short answer is yes. I think the Africa Free Trade is going to be small at first and slow going, but I think when we look forward, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, as we move into the future, I think we can see a lot more trade happening between the African states that are part of that free trade area. Certainly a significant potential benefit, and I think wine is one of those. The problem that the industry had in the last year that saw that drop of 17%, we had a lower season in South Africa, but also a lot of the markets we were selling into were seeing high interest rates, high inflation, most notably across Europe, the UK. And that, of course, put pressure on consumers in those markets, and they were shopping down. And South African wine, because of the distance it's got to travel, so it's going to have a little bit more of a premium price than one perhaps made in a neighboring country or in parts of Western Europe, perhaps in your own backyard in a sense. So that really was a double whammy which put pressure on it. But as you said up front, the African free trade, not in the short term, but in the medium term, that can really help.
Well, let's touch on some international markets now. The Chinese property company, it's called Evergrande. You'll correct me if my pronunciation is wrong. It was ordered to wind up by a Hong Kong court. What does this have to do with? Is it the mounting debt, perhaps?
Yeah, it is the debt. And Evergrande, I'm not sure if I'm right either, but I concur with your pronunciation. $300 billion of debt makes it the second largest bankruptcy that we've ever seen. Lehman Brothers from 2008 remains the biggest. And essentially, they were building property developments in China. The problem was they started to run out of cash. They couldn't build the properties, so they weren't able to deliver to the buyers. And then it just becomes an ever-going spiral. It's been going on since sort of September of 2022. So this has been 15-odd months of drawn-out negotiation. And it's not yet over, but this is a significant milestone. And that, as you said, the Hong Kong court said, nope, we need to go into bankruptcy proceedings. There's no chance, no viable chance for resurrecting this as a business. Bankruptcy is the way to go. There are a number of other property companies in China in similar positions, but not to the same scale as Evergrande.
Sure. Let's conclude with a recent case at the CCMA, Simon, which showed that employees must be very careful when making jokes in the work environment and can indeed be fired as a result. Do you happen to have the details here, and what warnings might we be alerted to?
Yeah, so this is, it's not a perhaps everyday case. It revolves around Ford. It goes back to the May 2023. We were getting some stage 6 load shedding. A particular person was in a WhatsApp group, 47 other colleagues who were working for Ford, and he put out a fairly elaborate, what he said was a joke, saying that due to this load shedding, in essence, there would be no production the following day. Ford came back and said, hang on a second, that simply wasn't true. It may have been a joke, but it was an ill-informed joke, because that might have resulted in some people not turning up on the particular day when work was expected to continue and certainly to be happening. He claims that he had deleted it. He says that he had said it was just a joke, but it does mean, particularly in work groups and the like, be careful with those jokes you put out. Perhaps keep the jokes to non-work related, because in this case, as you said, they did ultimately lose their job. The CCMA agreed with the dismissal.
Ouch. Simon Brown, let's leave it there. Giving us the markets update. So, the moral of the question, be careful what you say in the work environment. Just One Lip founder, Simon Brown. Thank you. All right.